How to find your passion. A question that everybody who has not yet found it wants to know. Why? Because society says that you should. Everybody says you should find a passion. Everybody says you should be passionate about something. Everybody says I've never heard a single person say that you're not passionate. And when everybody says something, that's when I want to be the right guy. No, not the right guy, but I want to be the guy who questions the social norm, who questions the things that don't go questioned, that people just take as common sense, people just take as, the way things are. But something I've learned about the world is difference comes before the substance. That's something I genuinely believe. Is certain things precede it. Certain things perceive that which is. And this is a world of motion. This is a world of change. This is a world of fluidity. This is a world of almost chaos and randomness and entropy. Nothing is rigid. Of course, our brains want to make sense of them in that way because it's helpful for society. It helps us function more well in a tribe setting, whatever. But the reality of the world that we can actually, are capable of somewhat understanding is that it's very, very not rigid at all. We like to simplify things and make it rigid, make it a hierarchical, stable, rooted system, when in reality it's a rhizome. That's something that I've learned, is that the things spread out everywhere, roots spread out everywhere. It's not simple. It's not a straight line. It's everywhere. It's convoluted as fuck. That's what life is. And it's not rigid, and it's not going to be anything so simple and plain and stuff like that. Which is why the way that you carry yourself in a world like that is that you have to be constantly being capable of molding yourself, being open-minded, being open to new opportunities and experiencing new things, experiencing it all, and constantly evolving and changing, not just being one boring thing because you feel like you have to, because your parents say that you have to, or because your friends say that you have to. You don't have to be a rigid personality that doesn't change. You can absolutely change everything about you if you please to do so. You want it to be you that's making that change. But if you don't, but that's probably not really neither here nor there, because this is about how to find your passion. Now, I mentioned that because you can be okay not knowing your passion. You can be okay not knowing what's going to happen next. You don't need to know what's going to happen next. You don't need to know exactly what your next move is. You don't need to have like a rigid, like future trajectory like that. That's why I mentioned that. But either way, I still want to know I'm still curious to see if I can find a passion. It may not be my only passion. It might change because I'm not a rigid personality. You have to be very fluid with your person and who you not have to be, but you should be. I think you should be very fluid as a person and with your thoughts and everything and your beliefs. Anyways, let's go.
We spend most of our youth in an educational system that tests us on our ability to do well in just a handful of things. This causes many of us to grow up thinking that we lack the talent and the intellect to succeed in life, when in reality, it might be because we were simply being tested on things that we don't have an affinity for. Today, I'm going to go over the 11 abilities that exist in life. If you're someone who worries about finding
I don't think
your
it's just
passion,
11, but I
watch
like
this
Improvement Pill. I know he's gonna give me some killer shit right here. Improvement Pill knows what he's talking about. This is not just 11 abilities, but here are 11 abilities nonetheless. But it's like Einstein said, if you judge a fish on its ability to fly or climb a tree, whatever, it's going to live its whole entire life thinking it's stupid, right? Very good quote right there that I wanted to add.
Till the very end, because you'll gain an understanding of where your strengths lie, which will give you an idea of which direction you should go. Now, just to clarify, when I use the word ability, I'm talking about two things. These are things that you have a natural interest in, and these are things that you probably already excel at, even if it's just slightly more than the average person. It's also important to note that although natural talent exists, practice and gaining experience equates to at least half of the mastery for any of these abilities. This means that with enough effort and hard work, you can still become pretty good at any of the 11. With that being said, let's jump right into it. Starting off, we have musical ability. People who score high in this category enjoy listening to music, may learn better by listening, and have a sharp sense for what sounds pleasant to the ear. This means that they have a knack for rhythm, tones, melody, and can often memorize and replicate pieces of music quickly.
Can't
if
do that.
you have a strong
I don't have
affinity
a-
for
I don't have a
music,
natural
then it
talent for
probably
that. I
means
don't.
that you are good at playing musical instruments, singing, or
I'm
even
not.
composing music. And although this is
I never
often a
tried.
skill set that society dismisses as just
I'm
a
willing
hobby,
to learn though. I think you should learn because it's one of the things that I learned in a neuroplasticity course I'm taking, is you should constantly be doing new things, pushing the boundaries, pushing yourself out of the comfort zone because that's where growth is. If you don't do new things, your brain shrinks. It gets smaller. If you don't expose it to new social interactions and new experiences, your brain doesn't feel the need to grow. It actually shrinks.
there are many career paths for people who excel
So I wanna
in this
learn an
ability.
instrument.
This includes becoming a music-related content creator, working on audio for films and video, composing and writing music, and working on sound design in general. Next up, we have natural ability. People who score high in this category usually enjoy spending time in nature, love plants and animals, and they understand how the different compounds and elements in the world interact with each other. This means that they have a knack for survival skills, they can identify individual plants and species, understand how animals behave, and they know how everything in nature is connected. Possible career paths for someone who scores high in natural ability include cooking, farming, working with animals, working with medicine, and even working in health, because everything related to our body is technically part of nature. And they can also work in any field related to the environment. The next category on our list is movement ability. People who score high in this ability enjoy moving their bodies, whether it's large explosive movements
I'm not
or
natural.
even the tiniest
Don't
and
know
most
about movement.
fine-tuned of movements. They have the powerful ability to control individual muscles in their body, allowing them to do amazing things that are often deemed impossible for the average person.
Okay, I can't say
The
that
great
to
thing
me.
about this category is that it's heavily tied to practice. Repeating a movement
do be
literally
liking to go to the
strengthens
gym,
your
though.
neurons' ability to fire in that way, which allows you to repeat that move faster and more accurately over time. Possible career paths for someone who enjoys and excels at movement are the sports, dance, fine craftsmanship, personal training, and even martial arts. Next up, we have interpersonal ability.
How does so careers? Is that a career? Is that a career path for that? How can you get a career path of martial arts? That's not a career path, unless if you're the one teaching it. But to be a teacher, you have to be like a master. What was the other one? Personal training. That's possible. A lot of people are personal trainers like that. That's possible
Personal training, and even martial arts.
for me.
Next up, we
maybe.
have
I get
interpersonal
better.
ability. People who have an affinity for this have a deep understanding of the relationships between people. They can quickly read someone's body language and get an idea of how they are feeling, and they are usually good at holding conversations. They understand human nature and how people interact with each other. Possible career paths for someone who has a knack for this ability include sales, creating social content like interviews and talk shows, event planning, relationship counseling, and even working in law enforcement, because they need to be able to read people. Similar to interpersonal ability is our next category, which is called intrapersonal ability. People who have an affinity for this have a deep understanding of themselves. They know how to look in the mirror to spot what needs work, allowing them to reflect and adjust. This is an extremely powerful ability.
I'm
that
sort
is
of interpersonal, sort of.
crucial for self-improvement, because the only way you can improve is if you can identify what you need to work on in the first place. Now, there aren't too many occupations that focus mainly on intrapersonal ability. It's something that helps you work on yourself, but professions like therapists, self-improvement coaches, and motivational speakers fall under this category to some degree. Up next, we have logical ability.
Nah, that would make sense for me, to be honest. I could probably be all three of those.
Helps you work on yourself, but professions like therapists,
Is there actually such a thing as a self-improvement coach? If so, how do I get there? Because I probably could do that. Come to think about it, I probably could do that.
self-improvement coaches, and motivational speakers fall under this category to some degree. Up next, we have logical ability.
Motivational
People
speaker?
who fall under this category
I just can't say too much because I haven't been getting social interactions this summer at all. I feel like my social skills are really lacking. Even if I have a literal, a certificate for a course in social interactions and connecting with people. That's what's so sad, is that I don't just have social interactions. I'm so lonely during the summer. I'm not logical?
Category can reason well. They may have some interest in math and the sciences, but most importantly,
I like
they
science,
are
but
interested in the truth. They act on reason more than emotion.
see, I don't know if I even consider myself logical as much as I love science and philosophy. Is a philosophy person considered logical? Then I guess I'm logical. But why is it that I don't like math? Is it because I'm a bitch and it's obviously the hardest one, so I just give up easily? Probably that. Which means I probably could get better, but man, is math so tedious and boring? It's learning a language. It's not learning like useful things about the like. No, that's not what I mean. Math is useful, but it's not like learning facts and like learning shit that's already within a language you know. It's like you have to. This math is just a language in itself. It's like learning the most basic thing about learning certain things about certain things, which is learning the algebraic, mathematic parts of other things. And to do that, you have to use the language of math. I just don't want to do that. I just kind of want to stick with English or Spanish and learn about psychology and stuff like that. I can do that when you don't bring like crazy numbers into play, you know?
Often feeling
And
like
variables.
the correct answer is more important than what's morally right. People who score high in this category are excellent at solving technical problems and can usually predict whether or not something will work with reasonably high accuracy. These people usually make great investors, scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs. This is actually one of the few strengths that will increase your chances
Sorry?
of scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs. This is actually one of the people usually make great investors, scientists, inventors,
Buffett.
entrepreneurs. This is actually one of the few strengths that will increase your chances of success regardless of what career path you go down because it allows you to differentiate from right and wrong. Now that we're
That's true.
halfway through the list, I'd like to take a second and quickly tell you about how you can figure out which one of these abilities you should focus on. See, there are certain things that we grow up liking, certain things that we naturally gravitated towards when we were kids and still do to some degree. In order to see where your passions genuinely lie, you have to expose yourself to a wide range of things to see what catches your attention, which is why this episode was brought to you with the help of the guys at CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream
Nice.
is like the documentary version of Netflix. They have thousands of streamable documentaries and nonfiction TV shows on topics like history, nature, science, food, travel, and much, much more. By looking at their selection, you should find yourself naturally being pulled in a particular direction. Certain subjects interesting you more than others, and this should give you a good idea of where your abilities may lie. Go to www.curiositystream.com/pill to sign up for just $14.99 for the entire year. That's right, it's not $14.99 per month, it's $14.99 for the whole year, which means that you're paying close to just $1
but I don't
per
watch
month
anything on
to
there.
gain access to thousands of high-quality documentaries. I highly recommend you to check it out if you want to find your passion and if you want to help support the channel. Now back to the topic at hand. Next up, we have linguistic ability. People who excel in this category have a deep understanding of their language and the emotions that come with certain words. They are often articulate and they usually have a vast vocabulary. They typically enjoy reading and listening to great speakers, but most importantly, they know how to craft messages in an engaging way, making them more influential than the average person. People who have a knack for linguistic abilities can become writers, speakers, poets, copywriters, or even translators. Up next is digital ability. This is one of the newer abilities on this list because the digital world has only really risen in popularity in the last decade or so. Most people who fall under this category are the younger generations as they've grown up with the digital world being a huge part of their life. They have a deep understanding of how the digital world works. Social media, SEO, marketing, memes, going viral are all things
Just
that fall
using
under this category.
shit. Just using shit does not teach you. Just simply using the stuff does not teach you what search engine optimization is. You know, I didn't know what SEO was until I actually looked into it.
Marketing, memes, going viral are all things that
If everybody knew how to go viral who use these shit, everybody would be going viral.
fall under this category, which is why occupations related to this ability are endless. Quite frankly, anything that can be done online requires some degree of digital ability, and the demand for people with these skills is only going to increase year after year as more and more business is conducted online. If you'd like to learn more about my experience with the digital world, you can check out a fun video about my journey, which I'll include in the description box below. Up next, we have visual ability. People who score high in this category have a deep appreciation for the aesthetics. This means they can spot what looks pleasant to the eye. They can tell which color combinations and what shapes look good. They can also visualize and imagine.
You just have to be really good at judging in this sense. I don't like to judge things that much. That's so bullshit. Isn't that so loaded full of BS that I just said that? I don't like to judge things. Please. I judge all the time, probably subconsciously. But the thing is, I wouldn't consider myself a visual person because the way he said that, like, I can't see myself, what looks pleasant, like what shapes look good. I don't. That's just not me. That's not.
They can tell which color combinations and what shapes look good. They can also
Good.
visualize
Good
and
in what
imagine
sense?
complex images in their head, often allowing them to recreate these images on paper. Possible career paths include architects, illustrators, animators, fashion designers, and graphic designers for all sorts of things. Next on our list is teaching ability. People who score high in this category can take complicated subjects and deliver them in such a clear way that even young kids can understand. They can spot what someone is doing right or wrong for the field that they specialize in, and most importantly, they gain a deep sense of satisfaction from seeing their students grow. Possible career paths for those that fall under this category are teaching, consulting, creating educational content, and even parenting. And finally, we have spiritual.
How is parenting
creating
a path?
educational content and even parenting.
Creating educational content. Okay, I mean, you could do that. Like, I would love to one day have like a modern wisdom and Joe Rogan type podcast. I would love to just talk to smart people and learn things. If I can just focus enough. Because I have ADD and I know I'd get distracted as fuck. And oh my god, that'd be so bad if I just, like, you have to focus up there because you have professionals coming in. You know, these are people that know what the fuck you're talking about most of the time.
Parenting. And finally, we have spiritual ability, which is a very unique category as it's something that almost everyone gains interest in as they age. Because it's the ability to think about the bigger questions in life. Like what happens after we die? What's the meaning of life? Is there God?
I have this
Things
ability.
like that. People who are fascinated by this category can become philosophers, pastors, monks, or might just spend a lot of time thinking about these things. There aren't that many occupations that require a specialty in this ability. Now, most people have an affinity for more than one of these 11 abilities, but you must figure out which one interests you the most, and then try to think about what career paths make use of those abilities. This will allow you to make a good living while doing something that you're actually interested in, which will make your work life more fun and enjoyable. Let me know in the comments down below which 3 of the 11 resonate with you. I like to take a second to see where your passions genuinely lie. You have to expose yourself to There are often ability. People who excel in this category have a deep understanding of their language.
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a master of words. I think if you are, you're a very seductive character, which I'd like to get better at this. I would love to get better with words. I'm not too sure about it, though. I don't think that's me, necessarily. I wouldn't consider myself that.
Who fall under this category can reason well. They may have some interest in math and the sciences. Similar to interpersonal ability is our next category, which is called
Intrapersonal. So I'm good at interpersonal. I'm a little bit better at interpersonal. Not than interpersonal. I'm better at intrapersonal than interpersonal. Movement. Then again, not too crazy on that. I mean, I just like to be as healthy as possible, sure. Nature, not really. Musical, no. Logical, to some extent, yes. Linguistic, not really. Digital, sure, I guess, but that's like too broad. Like, anybody can do this. Come on now. Nope. I actually do tend to somewhat turn into a bit of a teacher. And you said consultant?
They are teaching, consulting, creating educational content.
Creating educational content. I mean, possible. Highlight that one. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, man. What do you guys fall under? Let me know. Improvement pill, how to find your passion, 11 abilities. Which one is for you? Let me know in the comment section. If you made it to the end, you're the GOAT. We'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I don't think I can make another video. I'm fucking struggling. Jesus. My God. I like this comment though. I wanted to point it out. Ability, spiritual leader, career path, cult leader. I want to know a bit of everything. School system make me feel numb. It's really hard to get certain grades. I feel like I would belong. Yes, that's me. Depression, who don't have the previous 11. I'll see you guys, man. I'll see you.